One of the things I like most about NASCAR is the paint schemes. It's one of the things that sets it apart from any other motorsport. It's what makes NASCAR so iconic. They've had so many memorable, recognizable paint schemes over the years, and 2019 had some pretty good ones as well. So in today's episode, I'm going to go through and give you guys my top 10 list of my favorite paint schemes from this 2019 Cup Series season. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. We've got a very full show today, a very fun show today. Anytime I'm ranking things, that always invites the critiques, that invites comments, controversy, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But before I get started, I do want to quickly thank all of you because earlier this week we hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. 100,000 subscribers. The last few months have just been so go, go, go. The last few days just been so go, go, go for me. I haven't really had time to sit back and kind of take it all in. But I've been making videos for technically more than 8 years now, and to finally hit that 100,000 milestone is incredibly special. And I owe all of it to you guys, the support that all of you have given me. Even if you have been watching a few days or a few years, however long, it really means a ton to me that so many NASCAR fans have kind of gotten together and found enjoyment or entertainment or found my videos at all interesting, and we've all been able to kind of share that type of stuff together. That's really incredible. So I just wanted to thank everyone for supporting me, for supporting the videos, supporting the channel for all this time. Let's hope it continues to grow because this has been so much fun, and I'd hate for it to end anytime soon. But yeah, thank you guys for 100,000 subscribers. Big things still in the works. Anyway, with that being said, let's get on with it. Let's get to this video. My 10 favorite paint schemes from this last year. You guys know me. I typically like the big, bright, colorful, crazies. And I feel like a child when I make these lists. You know, I'm looking at these paint schemes when I'm looking through lists, I'm looking at photos, looking through videos from all throughout the season. And I find that I always like the big, bright, flashy paint schemes. Like a child, you know, children, they're attracted to bright, flashy lights and stuff, you know, they get distracted easily. That's me, basically. When I'm watching the race, if I see a big, bright race car somewhere, it distracts me and draws all my attention. So I find that I'm biased towards the brighter, flashier cars, but not all the cars on my list here fit that category. But let's go and dive right in. Let's get started here. We'll start off at number 10, the Jack Daniels car that Austin Dillon ran earlier this season. I think he only ran it at one race. I think he only ran it at the Charlotte Roval. I could be mistaken there. Now, it's important an important distinction to make about this list is I'm not factoring in any throwback schemes. So you're not going to see any of the cars from Darlington, no tribute, throwback scheme, that type of stuff. It has to be an original scheme or, you know, a modern scheme. It can't be a throwback to something from the olden days. And see, this Jack Daniels thing is kind of a throwback, at least a throwback sponsor, but I just love seeing the all black on the 3. The paint scheme obviously is extremely simple. There's not a whole lot to it, but I love the Jack Daniels logo. It just fits. And for them to come back to RCR, come back to NASCAR this year and sponsor a race car, even just for one race, the fact that they came back to the number 3 of all cars, the black number 3, just works. That's the nostalgia factor in there. You know, the black number 3, Jack Daniels. I grew up watching Clint Boyer in the Jack Daniels car in the 07 and everything. So maybe it's nostalgia speaking here, but this paint scheme, it hit me. When I saw it, when they revealed it, I was excited, and seeing it on track, I don't remember where he finished in that race. I don't think he was really close to the front, but the little bit you did see it on TV, oh, it was so nice. So Jack Daniels started off at number 10. Number 9, we'll go with Bubba Wallace here, the Air Force car. This one's awesome. It resembles, you know, like a fighter jet. The teeth, the big, the thing on the front. Really cool to see this in a race car. Now, Bubba Wallace, I put his car here because this is probably my favorite of the two, but Rick Ware Racing also drove a race car that has similar paint scheme to this one that was also really nice. So I could kind of put both of these here in number 9. This one's pretty cool. Bubba Wallace has always had some really cool Air Force paint schemes, but this one's really relevant. You know, he's had ones in the past that have like lightning bolts on it, which is kind of crazy and cool, but lightning bolts on the Air Force don't really match. This one's really cool. This is a cool tribute scheme. This is a great one for that sponsor, and it just looks really nice. He ran this paint scheme a few times this year. I got to see it in person at a couple of the races I went to, and it was cool to see. So I really like this. Bubba Wallace always has some great paint schemes. This year I feel like was kind of a down year for Bubba Wallace schemes, but this one was memorable. This one might have some people split, but I'm going to put Kevin Harvick's Gen X car here at number 8. This is not the Millennial car. That Millennial car he ran in the All-Star race was not good. But this Gen X car, I like it. It's themed. Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, it's a little bit cringy, but I just like the checkered board pattern here and there, the pink and blue and the neon yellow and green and everything like that. It just works. It's supposed to look retro and it matches. That was the problem with the Millennial pink car is, I don't know, the pink and the green on that car just didn't match, and it didn't really it didn't really make me think of millennials or Gen Z or anything like that. But this Gen X car with the patterns, the checkerboards, this car is super well themed, and it's cringy a little bit, sure, but I really like it. I genuinely really like the look of this car. I almost wish you'd run it more than once, to be quite honest with you. I really like this car, and I like that it's themed. So I'll give it these last two, the Air Force one and this Gen X one, very themed. I like it when things are themed. That's an important word for me. Number 7, Bubba Wallace and Daniel Suarez both ran similar paint schemes, but I really like the look on the 41 here. Orange Vanilla Coke. He ran this one back, I think this was Talladega, right? The first time we went to Talladega. They're hyping up Orange Vanilla Coke, had those commercials everywhere. A bunch of the Coca-Cola family drivers drove Coca-Cola variant paint schemes, but I really like this Daniel Suarez one. I also just like the spoiler on this with the wicker bills and the way they look like little horns almost in the back. That kind of adds to it. I know it's not really part of the paint scheme, but that kind of adds to it, but I really like this Orange Vanilla car. Orange has kind of always been Suarez's color. You know, he comes from Eris. Eris is a big sponsor of his. So I like seeing the orange and the red kind of mixed together here. This is a cool paint scheme. I really like this one. I love the way it looks on the Ford Mustang, especially with that Ford Mustang front end. And I mentioned the wicker bill, the big spoiler. It really worked. This paint scheme looks nice. I'm not always a big orange person. Orange is not my favorite color in the world, but I told you earlier, I like the bright, flashy paint schemes. This is the kind of the first one on this list that really is bright and flashy, and that's probably why I like it. Number 6, Alex Bowman here, Nationwide. It's a shame that Nationwide is going to be gone after this year, because Nationwide's always had some of my favorite paint schemes. Just the pretty blue, whether it's white, whether it's silver, whether it's, in this case, it's just a whole lot of blue with a little bit of that red trim. This is a patriotic scheme they ran. I really like this scheme a whole lot. It's very simple and very subtle, but I really like kind of the faded American flag design there on the side of the car. I think that's really cool. That's probably my favorite part of this paint scheme. And I love how the red trim on the 88 kind of matches, you know, the banner they have there above the windshield that also has kind of some blue and red trim on it. I think that matches really, really well. Whether that was intentional or not, that matches really, really well. This one's just kind of understated. It's kind of low-key. NASCAR always has a lot of really cool patriotic schemes, but they're always really big and, you know, red, white, and blue, really bright, really in-your-face. This one's a little bit more subtle, which I know it goes against what I just said, where I said I like the big in-your-face paint schemes, but I do like subtlety at times as well, and this one does it really, really well. I also love the pretty, just clean blue look on the 88 car. Bowman always has some good paint schemes. He had a Valvoline car. I'll throw out my honorable mentions here at the end, but he had a couple paint schemes this year that I really liked. Number 5, simply Kyle Larson, the McDonald's car he ran this year. He's had some really nice McDonald's cars in the past. I think last year when I did this, I had one of his McDonald's cars 5th or 6th on the list. This year's is just as good, if not a little bit better. In the past, he's had black on the McDonald's cars, like some black trim, black like swooshes here and there. This year, it's just all red and yellow and white, and it looks good. I think this one, he ran this one, Bubba Wallace also ran a McDonald's car that maybe was met with more mixed reviews. But I really like this paint scheme. When I first saw it, it blew me away, and I'm glad he ran it a few times this year. This is a really, really nice paint scheme. The bright red, the yellow, the ketchup and mustard, McDonald's. When I see this car, I think McDonald's. Let me put it that way. So McDonald's wins for, you know, brand recognition here with this paint scheme. I really love the roof, though. The fact that the roof is yellow with red outlined 42. That just looks so good. This is a really nice paint scheme. One of my favorites for sure this year. Worthy of top 5. We're into the top 5 now. We're in 4th. Let's see what's number 4. This one might look similar to last year. I think I had this pretty high on my list last year. So the PPG car that Blaney runs, they didn't really change it that much. This paint scheme looks very similar to last year's, but I loved it last year, and I still love it this year, especially on the Mustang body. The Ford Mustang just looks cooler, in my opinion, than the Fusion does. So that's a bonus. That's really nice. The blue, kind of like with Bowman's, I love blue. I love bright blue. That's why I got this big blue Matt Kenseth nose back here, because I love blue on the race cars when it's bright and just kind of bold like that. But then the red and the yellow and the streaks on the side, it works. It's really good. And of course PPG paints, it's a paint company. The paint splotches, streaks on the side. It's themed. It works. It's really good. I love this paint scheme last year. I liked it again this year a ton. I'd like to see them, as much as I love it, I'd like to see them maybe get a little more creative or try something a little bit different with this paint scheme going forward. You know, still maybe a similar color scheme, but maybe just try a slightly different design, see what happens, because I think they could do something cool with it as well. And I'd like to see it mix up a little bit. Now, number 3, this one's also going to look maybe a little familiar to last year's. The Auto Owners car Truex runs. Last year, his Auto Owners car, he ran at the Roval. That big, bright blue. I love bright blue cars. That bright blue one he ran at the Roval was one of my favorites. Probably, I think it was my favorite paint scheme last year. This year's one, not as blue. There's still a lot of blue, but they put some black in there. The cool thing about this year's paint scheme and why I still really, really like it is because they added that cool kind of geometric design going down the side of the car. Wasn't sure about it at first, but I still really, really like it. And I love the big bold logo on the hood. That works as well. Just the big swooping A looks super good. This whole paint scheme, I don't know if I like it quite as much as last year's, but I do admire the fact that they tried something a little bit different. They took something that was really good last year, modified it a little bit, and it still works. At least for me, it still works really, really well. He also won in this paint scheme this year, so that was cool to see. This is a really nice car, really nice paint scheme for Truex here. We're down to the top 2, y'all. This is where it gets exciting. Number 2, Corey Lajoie, the Mystery Machine car he ran, I think at Martinsville at the end of this season. This hits me right in my childhood. Credit to Keen Parts, Corvette Parts, the sponsors who are actually sponsoring the car this week. But the Corey Lajoie, that whole team, Go Fast Racing, adding the Scooby-Doo element because it's Scooby-Doo's apparently his 50-year anniversary this year since the first Scooby-Doo show came out. I didn't know about this, but with Martinsville always landing near Halloween, Scooby-Doo being a ghost, spooky, type show, the theme was outstanding for this one. The paint scheme looks amazing. If you haven't seen Scooby-Doo, this is basically what the Mystery Machine, the car they drive around, looks like. And as a kid, I grew up watching Scooby-Doo a lot. Even the old show, the newer shows, the live-action movies. I watched a ton of Scooby-Doo. Who didn't love Scooby-Doo? So this hits me right where it hurts. Or not right where it hurts, right where it feels good. It hits me right in the heart. I just love it. You got Scooby, you got Shaggy on there, and then you got the little flowers. What put me over the edge is when you got the little flowers there on the side panel. You got the flowers in there. The little orange flowers, just like the Mystery Machine. Big credit to Corey Lajoie for this paint scheme, for Go Fast Racing, and for Corvette and Key Parts for agreeing to do it. Because as far as I know, I don't think Warner Brothers or Scooby-Doo or any of them, paid for this sponsorship. I think this was just done for fun for the fans. And Corey Lajoie did a cool thing. He gave away parts of sheet metal to this car to certain fans as well. So really cool paint scheme right here. One of the best this last year for sure. All right, y'all, we've made it to the end. We've made it to number 1. But before I reveal my favorite paint scheme from 2019, here's a few of my honorable mentions. I'll just toss them all up here at once. I like the red Joey Logano car. I don't always love his paint schemes because they all kind of look the same, but this one with the yellow spoiler and everything kind of was different. I kind of liked it. I actually like Brad Keselowski's winter, Christmas sweater type paint scheme. That one was pretty cool. I like that one. Clint Boyer had a cool Mobil 1 car with the red flames, was neat. I liked Eric Jones. He drove this Craftsman car. It was in support of some charity. I forget the exact event. He ran this at Bristol earlier in the year. Really colorful. I like that. Corey Lajoie also with the face on the car, bringing Old Spice back into the Cup Series. Gotta love that one. Chase Elliott. I like the Napa Night Vision car. That worked really well with the Chase, the green playoff trim as well. Here's that Valvoline Bowman I mentioned earlier. And I actually really like Brad Keselowski's just plain discount tire car. I like that it's a little different than most of the other Penske paint schemes, and it looks really cool. I genuinely like it. Anyway, those are just some of my honorable mentions, but here we are, my favorite paint scheme from 2019. Many of y'all probably saw this coming. I gotta go with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the Sunny D car. Oh, this car's amazing. I love the orange, I love the blue, the multiple shades of blue, a little bit of yellow in there as well, but I love the design too. I love the 2 blue streaks coming down the hood to kind of give the car like an angry look to it, like more of an angular, angry front end look to it. I mean, look at that. This car would still be nice without the 2 blue streaks, stripes going down the hood, but with those stripes, oh, this thing's on another level. This car is amazing. This fits right into what I love here. Bright, big, bold colors, and a cool design. And of course, I love the Ford Mustang front ends. You notice a lot of these paint schemes here were on Fords. Something about the Mustang. Maybe it was last year the Camaro was kind of cool, caught us off guard. This year, I think it was the Mustang. Seeing that front end just looks really cool. That might have helped some of these paint schemes out, but this one's incredible regardless. Not a lot else I can say. I hope Sunny D stays with Chris Buescher now that he's going to be in the 17. I hope they bring something crazy out for this next year. Or, I don't know, Sunny D might be going with Stenhouse to JTG Doherty. Regardless, I hope we keep seeing Sunny D cars. I want to see more Sunny D cars. I want to see what they can do because these colors are great. This brand is great. They light up the track anytime they're on one of these cars. So I love it. Definitely my favorite paint scheme from this past year. A lot of y'all probably saw that coming. I've talked about it before how much I love this paint scheme, but there you have it. That's number 1 on my list. There's my top 10 list. Wow, there they are. 10 down to 1. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys agree. Let me know if you disagree. That's going to do it for this episode of Out of the Groove. Now, today I talked about my top 10 favorite paint schemes from 2019, but just like last year, here in the next day or two, I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to have time to upload it, but I will be posting my top 10 least favorite paint schemes from this year as well. This year didn't have that many awful paint schemes, like last year had a couple that were just terrible. This year didn't have that many horrible paint schemes. They had a lot of just not that great paint schemes, but I think it'll still be a really interesting video, so keep an eye out for that in the next couple days. And then, of course, there's some more news in the works these days. There's more news floating around the NASCAR world. Still some silly season dominoes yet to fall, so we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about here in this off-season. But that's all I got for this episode here today. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters, Mike Waffles, Michael Harrison, At You As The Stars, Cameron James, John Colbins, Jason R. Long, Isaac Dennison, Mika Suzuki, iFantasyRace.com, TheRacingInsiders.com, Matthew Koulopoulos, Pepe Lucius, Jeremy Conkling, Emilio Garcia, Joey DiMancino, Sky Racing Forum, Bryce Schumacher, Bryce Starcher, Scott McNew, Colton Austin, Bradley Pelletier, and the rest of these amazing Patreon supporters. I couldn't do this show without the support I get from you all every single week, every single month, so thank you for your continued support of me and of Out of the Groove. I mentioned those other videos coming out soon, so yeah, thank you guys for the support, and again, a huge thank you everyone for helping me reach 100,000 subscribers. Still hasn't fully sunk in yet, but I really do appreciate it. So thank you all for continuing to support me, continue to support the channel, support racing, support the show, all that great stuff. I sound like a broken record at this point, but I genuinely mean it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Hope you have a great rest of your week. I don't even know what day today is. Today's Tuesday, I guess, when I'm posting this, so I guess you still have a few days. I hope your week's great. Hope your week's off to a good start. I don't know when you're watching this. Never mind. I hope you have a great day, whoever you are, whenever you're watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye, everyone.